So let's look at some examples of function composition. So I'm going to do function composition using equations, and I'm going to use both values, so numbers, and actually just doing it with the equations themselves. So the first question I want to do is we're going to find f of h of 2. Now I'm just making all of this up while I go, so I have no idea how the answers are going to turn out. So the inside function is the h of 2. So I'm going to find h of 2 first. So h of 2 is 2 times 2 squared plus 3. So that's 2 times 4 plus 3. So 8 plus 3, or 11. So I'm really being asked to find f of 11 here. So the f function tells me to square whatever I'm plugging in and then do 2 times that number plus 6. So I'm going to plug my 11 in there. So that's going to give me 121 minus 22 plus 6. And I'm feeling a little lazy with my adding and subtracting, so I'm going to grab a calculator. And that's going to give me 105. So that would be my final answer. So remember, you always work from the inside out. So do the inside first, find that answer, plug the answer into the outside. Okay, let's get a little crazy. Let's do 3 functions. So I'm going to do g of h of f of 1. So you start from the inside and work to the outside. So here I have 3 function names, so I'm going to do 3 different compositions. So the first one I'm going to do is my f of 1. So f of 1 is 1 squared minus 2 times 1 plus 6. So that's 1 minus 2 plus 6. So that's going to give me 5. So I'm going to replace that. Might as well go ahead and color code this. So now I have g of h of 5. So now I'm going to do this inside function. So h of 5 is equal to 2 times 5 squared plus 3. Awesome. So that's 2 times 25 plus 3. So that's 50 plus 3, so 53. So now I'm going to plug that into the most outside function. So I'm going to get g of 53. So the g function tells me to do 4 times the x value minus 5. So I want to do 4 times 53 minus 5. So 4 times 50 is 200 plus 4 times 3 is 12, so 212 minus 5. So that's going to give me 207. So there are some examples of doing function compositions with equations where you're just using values, so you're plugging numbers in. So let's also do some where we are using the equations and doing function composition with each other. So I'm going to do 2 examples of this. So the first one I'm going to do is I'm going to do g of h of x. So the g function is on the outside, and the h function is equal to this stuff. So I'm going to plug in that for h of x, right? Because that's what h of x is equal to. And then the g function tells me to do 4 times whatever I'm plugging in minus 5. So I'm plugging in 2x squared plus 3, and then I'm going to simplify. So I'm going to distribute my 4. So that's going to be 8x squared plus 12, and then I still have this minus 5 on the end. So overall, I'm going to get 8x squared plus 7, and I can't simplify any further. So that's my final answer. And now, right, if I wanted to use that final answer, so as a follow-up, if I wanted to find g of h of 1, right now, I'm just going to plug 1 into that equation. So that's going to be 8 of times 1 squared plus 7. So that's 8 times 1 plus 7, which is going to give me 15. So if you have the function composition equation done, if you want to plug in any sort of numbers, instead of having to plug into the inside function and then plug the answer into the outside function, if you have the new equation, you just plug into the new equation. And then the last example I'm going to do is I'm going to plug, how do I want to do this? We're going to do the opposite direction. We'll do h of g of x. So now the h function is on the outside, and the g function is equal to 4x minus 5. So the h function tells me to do, if I scroll back up to look at it, 2x squared plus 3. So that means 2 times whatever I'm plugging in plus 3. So now I'm plugging in 4x minus 5. So if I want to follow order of operations to simplify this, I'm going to do my exponent first. So that means I'm going to write 4x minus 5 twice. Now, I find a lot of students will mess up a lot of the order of operations from here because some people will take the 2 and distribute it, but they'll distribute it to both parenthesis sets, and that's not what we want to do. So what I would say to do is to multiply this stuff first. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. So 4x times 4x is 16x squared. 4x times negative 5 is negative 20x. Negative 5 times 4x, negative 20x, and negative 5 times negative 5 is positive 25. Right, so that's what this whole thing multiplies down to. I'm still multiplying that whole thing by 2 now, and then I'm going to add 3. So I'm going to distribute my 2, so that becomes 32x squared minus 40x minus 40x plus 50 plus 3, and then I'm going to combine my like terms. And there we go.